So in this episode, I decided to do something totally different. I want to talk about something that's been on my mind a lot lately, and it's probably been on your mind a lot lately as well. It's the future of our kids and our grandkids. We're getting old enough to where maybe we don't have to worry about ours that much. I mean, we'll figure it out no matter what. But as you get older, you realize you worry a lot more about your kids and your grandkids than you do about yourself. And I think once your kids grow, you have a little bit of relief there, and you think, they're grown. I don't have to worry about them anymore, right? Doesn't work that way, does it? And not that they're irresponsible or anything. It's just we've been there, done that, and we know life's not all roses and Lucky Charms. I mean, it can be bad tasting cream of wheat and spoiled milk sometimes. So anyway, with all the talk about AI, artificial intelligence, it's easy to feel anxious, especially about them. But as I always say, it's not about fear necessarily. It's about preparation. It's how you prepare. So I thought, why not ask AI what my family's next two generations are. My wife and I are son and daughter-in-law and their kids. So our kids and our grandchildren, what their situation, their generations, what's that going to look like in the coming years? From XAI, Claude, Gemini, ChatGPT, and Microsoft Copilot. I asked them that question. What's their futures look like? So first, let me tell you about our son. He's 30. Of course, we're proud of him. He has an associate's degree in specialized medical equipment, and he repairs critical hospital systems as well as their equipment. In fact, he's one of only two people in the company that is certified to work on the nuclear-based machines. And don't ask me what that means, because I've asked him and I don't remember what he said. And, it's the ones where you've got to wear the little Geiger counter or whatever on your shirt so you know how much radiation you're getting. That sounds like fun. But anyway, there's only two of those types of techs in his entire company, and he's one of those. So his job is a perfect example of a career that is highly AI resistant. Why? Well, because you can't email in a repair, right? AI can diagnose a machine remotely, but it can't send a robot to physically fix it yet. His job requires hands-on skill and on-the-spot problem solving. And I could give you a ballpark figure of what he brings in per year. He's told me, and but you wouldn't believe me, because he just went to a tech school, right? What good is just a tech school degree? All you can do is be electricians and work on hospital equipment and fix HVAC. And yeah, you ever had one of those guys come out? Get out your checkbook, buddy. So you ever see the episode of Frasier? And I'm not talking about when he was on Cheers, but his show when he lived in Seattle with his dad. And Daphne and Niles would come over. Well, anyway, his plumber showed up to fix their toilet, and it happened to be the same kid that used to shove Frasier's and Niles' heads in the toilet when they were in school. And Frasier, I think, didn't he actually do that? Did he actually end up sticking his head, the plumber's head, in the toilet? But anyway, the whole time that the plumber's there, Frasier tries to one-up him, talking about how much money he makes and the kind of car he drives, his Mercedes E-Class, blah, blah, blah. And the old plumber goes, yeah, that's a good car. I had that a couple years ago. I upgraded to the blah, blah, the E8000. And Frasier's like, you've got an E8000? Because he just went to a tech school. But our son's job will change. His future isn't about avoiding AI. It's about partnering with it. Soon he'll be translating between human needs and machine capabilities. He'll need to engage in constant learning. The kid that used to sit in his truck until the absolute last second that he knew he could make it into class without being tardy. I don't feel tardy. But anyway, yeah, so he's going to have to engage in lifelong learning, as are all of us. But I think that's kind of funny. But he did great in tech school, man. He was the kid that was there at the help sessions day in, day night, making sure he knew every end of it. Got a great internship. I'll just tell you, he went to State Tech of Missouri, and it's the top-rated tech school in the country. And he didn't go there because of that. He went there because we lived close to that. And it just happened to be he was at the right place at the right time. I mean, after like February of year one, they've got companies from across the country there. You name them, they're there. And they wanted to hire our son to start then. They said, well, you can finish college some other time. And he's like, no, I want to finish. Well, so the next year they hired him. I mean, he had a job. So in February before he graduated in May. 2 years, 2-year tech school. Wasn't easy. They crammed about 4 years of electrical engineering down his throat in a matter of 2 years. It was tough. It was hard. He did it, though. And we're, of course, proud of him. But so, yeah, he's going to have to learn constantly. He needs to be the first to get certified on the next generation of machines, especially those with AI-powered diagnostic tools. He'll be invaluable if he understands both the hardware and the software, so he can tell if a problem is a blown fuse or a software bug. Even more valuable if sometime he thinks about developing his software that he needs to fix the machines, selling that. With his rare skills, I could see him using augmented reality to guide a younger tech through a complex repair from 1,000 miles away. He already does that, trying to talk him through on the phone. That doesn't always work. But with his engineering background, he could transition to AI integrator roles like medical device AI trainer or robotics maintainer in the $188 billion AI health market by 2030. Retirement by 2050 could be comfortable with savings funding, travel, or consulting. So if he saves, he and his wife could travel, or he could do consulting work for the company he works for now or other companies. And his wife, our wonderful daughter-in-law, she works from home, scheduling appointments and travel for busy doctors. And we have to be realistic. That type of role is at a high risk of being automated by AI, and they know that. She knows that. But for them, they don't see it as a risk, and neither do we. We see it as an incredible opportunity. Not only does she get to stay at home and take care of the grandkids, but she's already in the healthcare world. And this is her chance to pivot into a role that is deeply, uniquely human. She could explore careers like patient navigator, helping families navigate the confusing maze of healthcare that requires a level of empathy a machine will never have. And we always talk about that, empathy, uniquely human. She could explore that career. She could, because she's a genuine person. She's a real sweetie, great wife to our son, who sometimes annoys the crap out of her on purpose, as I'm sure I do my wife. Great mom to her kids. Just a great person. So empathy is one of her strong suits. She could go into telehealth coordinator. If you haven't used that before, it's just talking to a doctor or nurse practitioner on the phone. My wife and my daughter both have done that, and they swear by that. So she could be that reassuring human voice that helps an elderly patient get comfortable with a virtual doctor's visit. Or she and my wife could build a great business helping patients navigate healthcare costs and patient billing that they don't understand. I've told my wife that a million times. Why don't you go make a business out of that? Because she will argue over $3. If she feels that it's been unjustly charged, she'll argue for one time is for a year she argued. I don't think she's lost an argument yet on that. I think she's been right every single time. I think they hope that the people that they overcharge will be more like me, and maybe it's men in general. I don't know. Let's see, $20 or stay on the phone and argue for a couple days. Yeah, pay to the order of $20. We're just not going to do it, or I'm not going to do it. I don't care. I got vodka to drink. So, And then there's our daughter. She's 26. She's an occupational therapist at a major hospital, got her master's degree. She was the last class that could become OTs without having to get their doctorate. I imagine when some little smarty pants doctor comes along and tries to let's say, give her opinion over our daughter's opinion. I imagine our daughter's going to be going back to school to get her doctorate. Just kidding, honey. No, I'm not. I know her. She will. She's competitive. She played college basketball. Been competitive since she was old enough to drink milk. That's just the way she is. But her career is, in my opinion, one of the most future-proof jobs on the planet. She just got a new job. She transferred hospitals, and it's one of the largest hospitals in the country and one of the top-rated hospitals in the country. So we're very proud of her. Her work is built on a foundation of empathy, which she has. Even though she's like me, she doesn't let people see it. She don't want them to know she cares. Man, I don't give a crap about you. Oh, can I help you? Anyway, so empathy, human touch, and creative problem solving. That's her. So AI won't replace her. AI is going to become her assistant. Imagine AI will handle all her administrative work, the scheduling, the billing, the notes, the stuff she gripes about and hates. All she wants to do is spend more quality time with her patients, and that's what she wants to do. And one of the reasons why she left her old place and got a new job was because they were on her about, not just her, on all of the members of the OT department about seeing more patients faster and faster and faster. No, she's not into that. She wants to provide genuine care because she genuinely cares about the people she sees. You know, a lot of the people she sees have Alzheimer's, dementia, whatever, and she's been their daughter, their spouse, you know, you name it. She's had to pretend that. She's okay with it. I mean, there's been some heartbreaking stories, but she knows that goes along with the job. So I think she's pretty safe, at least through her career. But her path forward is going to be just kind of starting to learn how to use the AI. You know, it'll give her incredible tools like wearable sensors that track a patient's progress, helping her create the perfect data-driven therapy plan. Her path forward is to embrace it. She'll need to embrace the technology. She needs to be the first in her department to master new therapeutic tools and learn how to translate all that new data into better human care. Her creativity and compassion will only become more valuable. And by 2040, AI will design her treatment plans, but she'll still provide what AI can't. The touch that says, I believe in you, the intuition to know when to push her patients just a little bit further, and her parents just a little bit farther. I don't want to. Shut up. Leave me alone. The tears of joy when a patient achieves victory over their condition, or my tears of sadness when she stays on my butt and won't let me quit. And that brings me to our grandkids. One is 3 years old and the other is almost 6 months old. If you watch this channel, you see them at the end of, if you watch all of the channel, all the episodes, you see them at the end of every episode. That's the grandkids. They'll be entering the workforce in the 2040s. And the AIs, all 5 of them, painted a pretty stark picture for them. 80% of the jobs we know currently will be gone. But 100% of human creativity will still be needed. And so here's what clicked for me on that. We're not preparing them for current jobs. We're preparing them for opportunities we can't imagine. We have no idea what 2040 will bring. Will we still be alive? A lot of you will. Will I? What is that? So another 10, 15 years, 60, 75. I don't know. Might be a matter of how pickled I stay. That probably does a good job killing whatever's running around inside of me sometimes. So you can forget coding. That generation, don't go into coding. Every AI agreed on the real weapons, and coding was not one of them. And I can tell you right now, vibe coding, even though I've said in the comments section you can use it, it's driving me insane. The current AI is lazy. It wants to take the shortcut all the time. You can't just say do this and it builds it. Anybody that tells you that you can do that, if you see any stories on the internet or any YouTube channels, they're lying their butts off to you. That doesn't work. The AI will take the least, it will take the easiest route every time. It'll want to put a Band-Aid on things. And, we'll come back to that later. No, you can't do that. Then you end up with a mess, which is what I have. Because at first I trusted it. I thought, well, I don't know anything about coding, so this must be fine. Now I realize you have to ask questions like, all right, if we do this, what dependencies or relationships will this break to some of the other features that we need? And it'll say, oh, what a great question. You tell it to go back and look over the project knowledge section, which is like a RAG. So, I mean, it's like you provided all that stuff. If you've looked at that, you know what I'm talking about. And it'll say, oh, I read through it. No, it didn't. It maybe read one or two. Just say, go back and read it again. And then go back and read it again. Yeah, it's maddening sometimes as lazy as AI is. I'm using Claude to do my vibe coding. And because ChatGPT screwed it up royally the first time, but Claude isn't that much better. I got to stay on Claude. I call it him, I guess, because I'm a he, but I got to stay on him all the time. It's just lazy. So what did the AI say that we need to do? Okay, well, for the grandkids, not learning facts, but learning how to learn. They won't need to memorize facts to pass tests. They'll need to question and know where to find the answers to that. And I told you in one episode, when I was on the school board between 2008 and 2014, because of computers, we already were facing that question back then with Google and all of that. Do we teach information, or do we teach the students where to find information? You don't have to memorize any longer. You don't have to have a big set of Encyclopedia Britannica sitting underneath your TV set or on top of your TV set or whatever your ultimate 1970s, 1980s system, looked like. So they'll need to know where to find the answers. They'll need to be creative, taking all their Legos and building things wrong on purpose. Some airplane without wings, or making up impossible stories. Just being creative in general. Collaboration, not competing with AI, but conducting it. Being the human who knows what questions to ask. Both our grandkids will need to be lifelong learners who are relentlessly curious. Kids who aren't afraid to tinker, to fail, and try again. They'll need to be personable and outgoing. In a world full of AI, the ability to connect with, understand, and communicate with other humans will be the most sought after skill of all. And I know a lot of you see me talking, and you probably put the speed on 3 times X or whatever because I talk so slow, but you probably don't know, but I'm a very personable person. I enjoy meeting people, and I get that from my mom. If you take my mom to the grocery store, if she just is picking up 5 items, you'll still be there for 3 hours because she talks to every single person she comes by, and she gets along with everybody. I mean, anytime they used to travel a lot, and when they'd go to hotels, by the second day, her and the person behind the counter would be best friends and have margaritas at the end of their shift. And she's incredible. She's always been that way, and I guess that's where I get it. My cousin and I, my first cousin, my dad's brother's son, and I used to talk about interviewing, how, especially when we were in high school, college, and came time to interview for our jobs, and we'd be like, what? You want me to talk about myself for an hour? Great. You're going to love me. Listen to this. You won't believe it. I'm incredible. I get to talk about myself the whole time. This is great. I interviewed for things I didn't even want just so I could do that. And lastly, I want to talk about financial literacy. Our grandkids will see their parents saving and paying off debt, and they'll learn from that at a young age that financial discipline creates freedom and options. And all of our kids, my son, my daughter-in-law, our daughter, they save money aggressively. They pay off debt fast. They live below their means. Sometimes it's annoying, but we always made sure that we paid off debt, and that's something I preach to my kids, and had my parents preach to me too. My parents were the type that it was hard for them to get credit because they never had credit. They bought a car when they had the money for it. They bought a house when they could pay for it. They paid for things. They weren't ever in debt. So a lot of times they'd get a little pissed off when it came time to get a gas card or whatever, and they'd get denied because they had no credit history, because they didn't borrow money. They had plenty of money. I mean, because they saved. My dad was worked on the Rock Island Railroad that went out of business in the 80s while he was building our house. I know that had to be a stressful time for him, but he didn't let us kids know it. And they saved their money, so they were fine. My mom worked at the telephone company. You know, back then you just called it the telephone company. I didn't know what AT&T was. It was Southwestern Bell. And then, then they split up AT&T into the Baby Bells, and then I guess AT&T scooped them back up. I don't remember, but anyway, they worked their butts off so we could have a good life, and they saved every penny they ever made. I remember coming home one time when I was a junior, and my dad had bought one of those satellite dishes, one of those big, the big ones, if you remember, set out in the yard and slowly turn, not the little ones that are on top of houses nowadays, but those big ones. I couldn't believe it. I was floored. I remember thinking, there's got to be anything I want to watch at any time on this thing. Of course, there wasn't. It's just more channels with nothing on. But that's how, we never ate out. Even after basketball games or whatever, volleyball games or whatever, was me or my sisters, we hardly ever ate out. And sometimes we had McDonald's, but growing up, man, Pizza Hut was a treat. The little places in our town was a treat. So they were very frugal. My dad's still tight, man, still tight. That's all right. That's all right. And I bet you're thinking, oh, yeah, that's all right, because when he heads off to the next world, you and your sisters, well, yeah, but I am not looking forward to that, Dad. Plus, I wouldn't know how to fix my hot water heater. I had to call him today for that. But anyway, yeah, that's not fun to think about. And I'm old now, so for all you know, I may go first. All right, so where are we? But being financially independent like that, it gives them something. It gives them something pretty precious, and that's options. You have options when you don't owe money. When my daughter-in-law's job gets automated, she has runway to retrain. When my son needs new certifications, he can afford them. When my daughter wants to specialize, she's not trapped by debt. So when I look at my family, I'm not scared of the future. I'm fairly optimistic, because knowing what's coming isn't about fear. It's about preparation. My son will be the hands-on expert managing the technology. My daughter will be the compassionate expert using that technology to heal people. And my daughter-in-law and possibly my wife have the opportunity to pivot into a new, more human-centric career if they so choose. My wife right now, she's a graphic designer, really great at her job, talented, but I know she's tired of it. And that's why I've kind of said, well, why don't you try this? But, maybe with her and my daughter-in-law, if they get together and try that, maybe they'd have fun. I don't know. But my daughter-in-law, she'll be fine. And yes, daughter, I'm saying our daughter-in-law is probably the smartest. You're pretty close. And then probably mom is next. And then probably our son. And then me. Vodka. I don't care. But anyway, this is my family's, roadmap. The grandkids will equip them not with a career plan, but with a curious mind and an empathetic heart. They'll create opportunities we can't even imagine. So our family's roadmap is built on technology, doubling down on our human strengths, and standing on a firm foundation of financial discipline, as well as our belief in the promise of God our Father. He's our rock and our strength. So I wanted to share this with you because I know my family isn't unique. We're all thinking about these things, all of us. If you have kids and are friends with kids that you're close to, or maybe you don't have kids, but you're an uncle or an aunt, and you love your niece or nephews, and we have those too, and I know they'll be fine. They're all very intelligent, every single one of them. Let's see, we've got five, six, I guess. Yeah, and they're all very intelligent, and they'll be fine. But I'd like to know how you're preparing your family for that. And if you would leave a comment in the comment section, I sure would appreciate it. It's been fun commenting with all of you. And I know sometimes I'm not too serious in the comment section. I feel like I get enough serious time here, so I kind of like to say things that are from movies or off the wall. So if you don't know what I'm talking about, it's from a movie or a song from the 80s, I'm sure. So thank you for letting me share my family story with you. And if this resonated with you, would you please consider leaving a thumbs up? And if you haven't subscribed yet, I sure would appreciate it. And I'll see you in the next one. And here comes my grandkids, our grandkids. I got to stop saying my grandkids, They both they like Grammy better than Pawpaw anyway. I'll see you next time.